Um, I'm making a second video for this Sunday, the 8th of January 2023. I would like to quote Chronicles Book 2, the second book of Chronicles, which is the sixth of the 6 books of histories. Samuel 1, Samuel 2, about the birth of Samuel and his maturity, the death of Eli, his priest and guardian, and the election of Saul to king of Israel by the prophet Samuel, who the Saul king, first king of the United Israel, and Shiloh, where Samuel, before he elected Saul, was made Lord of Israel and eternally, and Saul was given authority by God, but disobeyed, and the finest soldier that ever lived, Saul, and it was in his power as a man, not a prophet. So his authority as a prophet was to be the first king of Israel, but his power as a man was to conquer and possess, and he would have become as an emperor or a pharaoh of Canaan. But God disinherited him, and the history of Saul's fall and the election of the son of Jesse, the sixth child and youngest of Jesse, David, the shepherd boy, teenager, and his subsequent histories, and Samuel making David king, and David's wars to become king against Saul, and his betrayal of Israel, and his time in exile with a foreign combatant to Israel, and David's election to king, and David's fall when he went into exile with a number of his people and court, and passed through Samaria, which was in the kingdom of Israel, Judah, Israel, and Samaria, and his return were in numbers to Israel, and the war and the revolt against King David, and the election of Solomon by Samuel, and Solomon's reign as king, and Solomon king of the temple, and the subsequent kings that followed, and that's Samuel 1, Samuel 2, Kings 1 and 2, Chronicles 1 and 2. If you read Chronicles chapter 1, verse 14, 15, 16, 17, those 4 verses, 14, 16, 17, 14, 15, 16, 17, in chapter 1 of Chronicles, book 2, it talks about Solomon's military. It talks about, I don't think I can remember, 14,000 chariots, 12,000 horsemen, and it talks about 600 shekels of silver. I think 600,000 shekels of silver. And it talks of, I'm trying to remember, I'm not reading it at the moment. It talks of, let me think, 70,000 footmen and 80,000, 70,000 horses reserved in Jerusalem, 70,000 horsemen or chariots, and 80,000 footmen. That's 70,000 chariots, 80,000 footmen, charioteers, 80,000 footmen reserved in Solomon's defense in Jerusalem. That's 15,000 in total. And it talks about the reservation of a chariot of silver, 600 shekels of silver, for one horse. One horse, 600 shekels of silver, like an idol. Not that statue of Nebuchadnezzar. It's an idol given to Solomon by his enemy, the Canaanites. They give him an idol of a silver horse in weight, 600 shekels, for the salvation of his people, Israel. And well, everything has an exact meaning. Chariot means something like chariots of God. That's Zechariah chapter 5, the chariots of God, chariots of fire. So that's 12,000. I'm very poor at numbers. Let me see. It was well, it's all written there. Chariots mentioned twice, the two numbers, and horsemen mentioned, whole horses of Israel, and that's Zechariah as well, and Revelation, and horse mentioned several times. A silver idol or horse that's mentioned. Idol is very important. Now, the silver idol or horse doesn't refer to Daniel. It refers to Judges. If you read Judges, I can't remember which chapter it's not 9, that's about Samson. One of those chapters in Judges talks about a poor widow and her son. As in Elijah, you see, he visited a poor widow and gave them oil so they would have something to eat during the drought. Well, there's a poor widow in Canaan, an Israelite woman, and Canaan is dominated by Canaanites. Israelites are not in possession. They live there in a way. Black people live in England or France or Italy. They don't live as niggers. And someone steals her silver. See, that's like my family, because my family is a privileged family amongst the black race, but amongst in England, I know people such as Maria Theresa of Texas. She outranks the Windsor. She's a Habsburg, but so on. And I'm a nigger, you see. And my mother, privileged and not poor. I come from a very educated family, but not wealthy. When I say educated, I don't mean me and my brother and sister. I mean uncles and aunts, if they're alive, and grandparents and grand aunts and grand uncles and great grandparents, and maybe 500 cousins, nephews, nieces, maybe a few of those, and were poor. Now, what I'm saying is, in that Judges, it says that this woman had so much silver, maybe £300 worth, they stole it. So the son, a nigger as well, a brave nigger, went out and found it and got it back. Not all of it, he got about 2/3 back. Well, you could say that's my life. I've lived a life of a very poor and beggarly nigger in England and Europe, America and Nigeria. But I've lived the most distinguished life, and if you don't understand why, well, think of Francois Villon. Francois Villon graduated from the University of Paris in 1300 and never found a job, and he was starving and became a thief, and he wrote his finest work in prison and was hung. But his work is toilet paper compared to mine. I don't mean the Bible. My poems, my plays, my screenplays, my novels. Well, you could think of someone else. Caravaggio was said to have been the greatest. They say he's come obscura, but I haven't. I've written works painted in heaven on canvas with oil. And Maria Theresa is a painter, and she sells her work. She's an exhibiting artist, but I'll castrate someone. Now, I've taken back 2/3 of that silver and given it back to my mother in the video I published before this today. See